It's the battle of the two most affordable mid-range phones. The Realme 9i and Redmi Note 11 are almost paper-spec identical mid-range smartphones, but they are 50 ringgit different in their retail prices. So which one is the better deal here? Let's talk about it. Now, these phones are powered by a Snapdragon 680 chipset, and the units I have with me right here are equipped with 4GB of RAM and 128GB of storage, which are the base storage variants being sold in Malaysia. In terms of the aesthetics, the Realme 9i is the obvious bigger kid right here, as it has a larger 6.6-inch IPS LCD display as compared to the 6.4 inches AMOLED display of the Redmi Note 11. Both displays refresh at 90Hz with Full HD Plus resolution and looks pretty good to my eyes. Although the Redmi Note 11 has the advantage of better brightness and colors, but I personally prefer the more natural color saturation on the Realme 9i's display. I don't find them too difficult to handle with one hand, but you will definitely find the Redmi Note 11 a better device to hold if you have smaller hands. Personally, I prefer the Realme 9i's top left camera cutout as it is less obtrusive when watching videos. In terms of design, I like the Realme 9i's reflective holographic back and the simple looking camera bump, but the rings around the lenses feels kind of unnecessary and can get scratched after a while if you don't put on the case. The back, as you can see right now, is a real fingerprint magnet. On the other hand, the Redmi Note 11 comes with a boring matte black plastic slab, but the smudges wouldn't be as obvious as the Realme 9i if you're going to use it without a case. The cameras also don't have a huge camera bump or ring that makes it look really clean. These phones come with stereo speakers and they sound pretty much the same. But I prefer the Redmi Note 11 speaker placement when watching content in landscape as it projects sound better when my hands closes up on them. The Realme 9i uses the conventional earpiece and bottom speaker design, which is okay, but you wouldn't get the wide soundstage when you watch content in landscape. So having used these phones side by side for a week, the Redmi Note 11 tends to perform a little better over the Realme 9i when it comes to software and performance. I'm not suggesting that the Realme 9i is terrible, but the animations on MIUI are just faster and smoother. I occasionally encounter starters on the Realme 9i in app launches, and there are times that the home screen will restart even when I have 3GB of extended virtual RAM enabled. Even in benchmarks, the Redmi Note 11 scores 10% higher in the multi-core score on Geekbench 5. While both phones are equally mediocre in graphics performance, the Realme 9i can't even take on a 3D Mark Wildlife benchmark properly. Now, despite that, the Realme 9i makes a short comeback in this comparison with its main camera. As you can see in this set of photos with good lighting, the 50-megapixel main camera captures very favorable colors and better details compared to the Redmi Note 11. It also has slightly wider field of view, which is good for landscape photos. But that wider angle is defeated by the Redmi Note 11's dedicated 8-megapixel ultra-wide camera, although it isn't the best in class. The Realme 9i only has two other cameras that does macro and depth measurement at 2 megapixels, which the Redmi Note 11 also possesses. In terms of the front cameras, although I prefer the more close-up angle of the Realme 9i, but the Redmi Note 11's wider camera angle simply makes taking Wi-Fi's a way easier job. So it really depends on which one you prefer, and personally, I think both selfie cameras look pretty good in my tests. The Realme 9i and Redmi Note 11 sport 5000 mAh batteries with a proprietary 33-watt fast charging protocols. These batteries will easily last you more than a day or two if you aren't a heavy user. But the Redmi Note 11 is more flexible in fast charging if you don't have access to its provided power brick, as it supports USB PD charging up to 30 watts, which is still relatively fast to get it back up. But the Realme 9i will unfortunately stick to 10 watts if you use other quick charge adapters. Ultimately, the Realme 9i and Redmi Note 11 are really good affordable mid-range phones that excel in respective departments. However, there's no denying that the Redmi Note 11 is the overall better value champion. At 50 ringgit less than the Realme 9i, you get an additional ultra-wide camera and an AMOLED display that has better brightness than the Realme 9i's IPS display. But What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below, and that's all for today's comparison video. Stay subscribed to the channel if you haven't, and I'll talk to you guys in the next one.